Alright, fellas, I have my last beer with me. Or at least my last beer in, I don't know, the next couple months. I'll probably drink in the next 3, 4 months, but I just need to lock in. And what better way to lock in than to kind of set it in stone and bring it out to the world that, hey, this is going to be my last one in a minute. Now, me personally, I've never really been addicted to alcohol. And Miller Lite's not really my favorite. I'm more of a Michelob Ultra kind of guy. But anyway, now weed's been more my forte. Obviously, like I've complained about weed plenty of times, and I find it's something that's way easier to get addicted to than alcohol. No calories. You don't feel like you kind of feel like shit, but you don't. Um. Anyway, I hope this is your last beer too, for at least for a while. I'm not gonna sit here and try and preach to you why it's such a bad thing that you're drinking and all this. Too many people get the idea of addiction wrong. They think that addiction is just kind of like you cannot function, you can't do certain things, when in reality you can. It's just this thing in the back of your mind that you understand you're not reaching your full potential, right? And with weed, obviously, I know that. I know that I'm not really reaching my full potential. And like alcohol, it's more acceptable when it's in social settings, of course. And of course, way harder for me to get addicted to because I have SIBO and have like 2, 3 drinks and my stomach is ready to explode. I'm bloated, AF. But so I think a lot of people have this misconception that addiction just this kind of like thing where you can't function, you're rude to everybody, you're this. When in reality, like I'd say like 25% of people in the world are like addicted to some sort of substance. And I say substance because there's a lot of different things that you can get addicted to that aren't just substances. So if you are an alcohol addict, just do whatever you can to, of course, first off, make sure you're treating people right, right? If you're going to try and get off of alcohol, obviously do the research on what it takes to get off of this kind of stuff. With weed, you can do it cold turkey. You're going to experience a lot of dread. With alcohol, um, there's a lot of different things going on in your body that you can't really just kind of cold turkey this kind of thing. So, yeah. Now, that's understandable. A lot of people won't understand that. A lot of people won't understand the amount of dread that you experience when trying to get off of these kind of substances. Now, what I will say is that it is worth it. Obviously, it's worth it. But it's not worth it for, uh, the same reasons that everybody says. Like, oh, it's for your family, do it for the people you love, etc., etc. Because you can still love those people and those people can still love you and you can still function in a way that, they might not figure it out, right? Now, I'd say do it for the fact that you are more capable of controlling yourself, right? Too many people have no clue what they want in life. Too many people have no clue, where they're going to go. But the one thing that is that you need to improve, right? So obviously, a lot of people that are completely sober, they have they don't have any understanding of what it's like to battle your mind, right? They have no understanding of what it's like to get subconscious thoughts and shut it down with your main consciousness. Now, what I mean by that, obviously, like it's a little hard to understand, especially if you're just a sober person. You kind of don't really, you don't realize like where your thoughts come from. So, like, for example, like a sober person could become addicted to a girl, right? They're addicted to the feeling that they get from being around this girl, and then they'll understand, like, it's hard to understand that it's just hormones, it's just dopamine, it's just all these different factors that play a role. My hair is dog shit today, but I'm gonna work out after this video, and then I'm gonna take a shower, fix it up, and then yeah. Anyway, a lot of people that are sober, like say a guy gets addicted to a girl, right? He's just blindsided. He's blindsided by reality. He's blindsided by, what actually is going on. He's not going to realize that, like, okay, you shouldn't put all your eggs in one basket. You shouldn't, go ahead and rely on this woman for your happiness because, well, they haven't gone through what it's like to rely on an individual thing for happiness, right? They haven't understood what it's like to go through, like trying to get off of something because it's bad for you. And I'd say most guys understand that, like, oh, a woman, like that specific woman, obviously, like, you just like her because of the way she looks, right? A lot of people that are sober probably have porn addictions, which they don't talk about because, well, I mean, they're not addicted to a substance, so why would you need to talk about it? And I'd say, it's not to excuse addiction, but it's also emphasizing the fact that battling your mind is a lot harder than people try and perceive it as. Like, it's a lot harder than what people portray it as, right? So, like, it's so easy to tell people, like, hey, like, stop scrolling TikTok. But a lot of you motherfuckers are gonna keep scrolling TikTok tomorrow. When you open that phone, you're not gonna hop on Indeed and look for a job. You're gonna open up Instagram and scroll reels. Like, that's just the reality of it. But when you go through that first addiction, when you go through that first kind of like, you know, battle and the war on your mind, basically, like, you just try and have this war against who you are as a person. I mean, it's more finding out who you are, right? And a lot of people don't really find out who they are until, say, I don't know, they go through a bad breakup and, they start realizing, like, hey, the world isn't really just about trying to find a woman and all this. It's not just about trying to get a boyfriend, get a girlfriend, and then, have sex every night. Like, no, there's way more things in the world that are worthwhile than just the endeavor of pleasure. And I think that's what addiction really teaches you. It teaches you that pleasure is not really that good. It feels good. Obviously, there can be things that are pleasurable, but that, I think people that really understand this, of course, they're going to lean more to the right. They're going to lean more Republican because, well, yeah, I mean, that's the reality of things. It would be pleasurable to keep all the immigrants in the United States. It would be pleasurable to, like, have everybody with free health care, but that requires, doctors to not be pleasured by the fact that, everybody doesn't take care of their health anymore because, oh, healthcare is free, and now, like, so many nuanced things that a lot of people don't understand once they like, because they'll never have the experience of an addiction. They'll never have the experience of, going through, like, people hating on them just because of the fact that, oh, like, I'm better than you because I'm not addicted to one substance. Meanwhile, they're drinking Starbucks every day and, like, they're just fat as shit, all this acne. Like, yeah, sure, but you're not addicted to anything, clearly. And, like, I try my best. Like, you don't just get that from nowhere, right? Like, you have to obviously work hard. And let me take another sip of this beer real quick, because we're drinking our last beer, buddy. It's really not that serious. Like, I think too many people kind of, like, with my last video, I got a lot of shit for talking about, like, how Trump's gonna fix the economy and shit like that. Like, like, dude, I don't really care if you think he's not going to. There's just way better chances with him than Biden or Byron. Like, and, like, the funniest part is that, like, you never get any kind of, back and forth, like, actual constructive conversation. You just get shit talked. And I think, like, obviously that's the main point that the right's making, but like, it's always this superiority factor, right? It's always this kind of like superiority thing that a lot of people have when they're not addicted to a certain substance, right? Like, if you drink alcohol and you don't smoke weed, then you're more than likely just gonna be like, oh, like weed smokers, potheads. You're gonna think of them as like some sort of stoners and things like that. You're gonna have an unfavorable opinion on stoners, right? Just like how stoners try and cope and say like, oh, at least I'm not addicted to cocaine, at least I'm not addicted to heroin, and then so on and so forth, right? People that eat like shit are always like, oh, at least I'm not addicted to, like drugs, or at least I'm not addicted to opioids, and people that are addicted to opioids are like, oh, at least I'm not addicted to alcohol, or some other shit like that, right? It's a pipeline. It's a pipeline of people that love to feel superior to others, when in reality we're all just human, right? But now, you know, I think I think a lot of people just want some answers, right? A lot of people just want some answers of real life, and I think the biggest answer that you can give to yourself is whether or not you can control your vices. I mean, that's why I call myself Vice Vestra. I mean, it's just Vestra, just Latin for your, pretty much, and vice is obviously vice, right? So I think of your vices as like kind of like symbolism to remind myself every day that you are not the amalgamation of your vices, right? You are not the accumulation of whatever vice that you can't control at the moment. Because as long as you have that little tidbit telling you that, hey, you gotta kind of slow down, you gotta stop this vice, right? Then at some point, that little tidbit is going to burst into a big bubble in your brain that tells you, hey, motherfucker, stop, right? And it all depends who you are. It all depends how good you are in life. Most people that are good in life, they're making a lot of money. They think like, okay, they don't have to stop. They don't have to do any of this self-improvement bullshit because, well, I mean, it's not for me. I have money. I have a nice little wife that gives me throat every once a week. Like, okay, yeah. Like, that's cool and all, but it's a lot of people, they want better for themselves, right? And so that's why, like, I'm completely fine with not being that fat, supervisor that has 80,000 a year, like, that's cool. And a lot of these people have children, and that's fine. But most of the time, when you see people that are unsatisfied with their life, and like parents that are unsatisfied with their life, they're not unsatisfied with the fact that they had children. They're unsatisfied with the fact that they could have done better. They're unsatisfied with the fact that oh, I could have done better and given my children better, yet I didn't. And so they just kind of project that onto society or their children. And yeah, and a lot of the philosophy that comes with these parents, like these parents that are very unsatisfied, like the philosophy is just kind of that oh, like you should be able to learn these things by yourself. Like, oh, you should know what's good and bad because, well, TikTok taught you to, or some shit like that. Like, a lot of these people are iPad kids. A lot of these kids are iPad kids, and they're getting fed same shit every single day. It's just freezer food. Like, it's actually crazy the amount of parents that are not cooking for their children nowadays. And that's because what? You know, they're addicted to the $80,000 a year salary. They're addicted to the, you know, the the affirmations that they get from their coworkers, like, oh, you know, you look pretty cute today, you know, like, it really doesn't matter. Like, I like to think that, you know, I shouldn't care what other people think, right? I shouldn't care what other people think, but I should care about the merit to their opinion, right? Like, they have their own opinion for a reason. If their opinion of me is, you know, like I'm a shitty human being, like, if they think I'm a shitty human being and they have their entire life in check, say like, like I can't even say Elon Musk because, well, like, he's fat, and, well, I mean, would I want to be him? Maybe. But would I want to look that way? Would I want to, you know, have, like, that's the thing. You can't get to that position in life while caring what other people think, right? And it's not that I want to be specifically Elon Musk. I would more like, exactly. You can't really pinpoint who you'd want to be like because there are really no good role models. There is no good role models in society today. It's really hard to pinpoint who you'd want to be like, and that's exactly why I say, like, I don't really care about what anybody else thinks. Nobody's really a good model in today's society. In today's society, we always, you know, highlight people like Keanu Reeves, and then don't realize that, like, even somebody like that has their own faults, but they don't display it on the internet because, well, I mean, he's Keanu Reeves. It's not like he has to, and he's more of a privatized person than he is more public. Anyway, it's we shouldn't base our morals on, you know, whether we're addicted to something, whether we're like, but that's why I say I don't care what people think. I care where the opinion comes from. And if the opinion comes from bad faith, we're like, okay, you know, like, oh, I'm upset with my relationship, etc. Like, I'm more worried about that, right? I'm more worried about where the opinion comes from. Because if your opinion comes from projection, then you and I can work together and do something about that. And you and I can work together on what you're so unsatisfied for. Like, is your wife fat? Are you fat? Do you want to fix that? Like, yeah, like, we could help each other out. Like, yeah, sure, I got a little double chin, whatever. But, like, I lose 25 pounds. I'm like 202 right now. I'm like 200 pounds right now, right? At like 5'7". I'm a whopping 5'7", guys. Of course, the beaner, 5'7", yeah. Anyway, I could cut down to 175 easy. Easy. Do I want to? No, because Justin Gaethje, and just look up Justin Gaethje quote, right? If you watch UFC, you know what I mean. But yeah, like, take another sip. Take a nice little chug. How about let's chug it, because, you know, when you're drinking beers, are you really drinking beers just to sip it? Like, come on, we're hitting that chug so that we can at least feel something. All right. Anyway, now, obviously, there's a time to be professional. There's a time to, you know, like, there's a time to suck up to your superiors when they demand it, right? Like, a lot of people are just living that lie. A lot of people are living that lie of, you know, like, oh, you gotta pretend like you're gonna work this job for 10 million years because that's what they want to hear. And, like, we can't get anywhere as a society with that kind of rhetoric, right? It's hard when people are trying to just look out for themselves, and that's the whole point of, you know, not caring about other people's opinions. Because if you're looking out for yourself, then you'll care about other people's opinions. You'll care about what people think. You'll care about the fact that, you know, like, oh, that person said this and that, and then you'll dismiss their argument because, you know, you think you're better than them because you make more money or some shit like that, right? And, like, and that's the thing. I say I don't care about people's opinions, but that's because I don't put any value on myself or other people. I prescribe I prescribe, merit. I prescribe what kind of, where is this coming from? Where is animosity coming from? Even and if it is animosity, right? A lot of people want to tell you these things, want to tell you like, hey, you're fucking up because, well, like if you're fucking up, you're fucking up, right? But they'll hide it from you because, they'll assume that you're hostile or you're this person that, can't take any authority or doesn't is not fond of authority, right? And if that really is the case, if that really is the case where you're not fond of authority, then yeah, more than likely, like, you need to learn some things, right? But if you're the type of authority that takes advantage, then yeah, of course, like, it's a very hard thing to balance, and a lot of people mistake, like, just kind of like skill based improvement. A lot of people mistake like when authority is trying to help you out with your skills, as opposed to like authority just kind of using their authority to stray away from having to take more responsibility of their actions. And I think the whole point of authority is to take responsibility of the people below you and take responsibility of how well they're doing, right? So if I perceive myself as this authoritative figure that is, has the ability to talk on YouTube and say like, oh, this is my last beer, this should be your last beer too. Like, if I perceive myself as this kind of authority that wants to, help people out, then that's exactly what I should be doing. And that's what I should be doing for myself. But I also should be making it real. I can't just, sit down and say like, oh, hey, like, I'm the perfect being, listen to me, because I'm not. Nobody is. And that's the main point. Like, nobody is a perfect being. So even that guy that's, on fucking 500 milligrams of test every week and makes $1 million a month, and like, even those people, they have something. They have some kind of vice. They have something that they're hiding, right? And so it'd be best to be the person that is not hiding their opinions from anybody, especially from your own family. You can stray away from the internet stuff, but as long as you have your own circle that is solid and, you know, you can rely on, then yeah, go ahead. Be honest, because nobody's going to be able to help you when you're lying out of your ass. So yeah, be honest. Like, is this going to be your last beer? You can type in the comments. You can be honest. I'm not going to be judging you. Like, it's obviously like, this isn't going to be my last beer. In the next 3-4 months, I'll probably drink another one, and then, but in the next 3 or 4 months, I also plan to have a lot more shit in check. And yeah, I mean, yeah, I'll be documenting that process throughout my whole YouTube career, career, I don't know, this whole channel. I do think one singular beer does get you more inebriated than 10 joints. I'm being completely honest. Like, beer is a lot more potent than weed ever will be, in my opinion. But yeah, I think too many people speak with authority they speak with authority because they think their authority would mean nothing without the label on it, right? They think that, because they have a label, that's what gives them authority. But authority is not prescribed to any specific label, right? It's prescribed with knowledge. You don't have authority because you have, like some kind of title. You have authority because of the knowledge that you harbor. So, if there's anything in life, the people that have zero knowledge of what it's like to battle their brain and battle this kind of addiction and the battling of the subconscious, if you have no understanding of that, then you have no authority over the conversation, pretty much. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I gotta say. Let's chug the rest of this beer, fellas. Last beer in the next couple months or so ish. I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna shave this beard after. Hopefully, I don't cut the shit out of myself. And yeah. Chug. I'm just not able to. Appreciate you guys for watching. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Peace. And actually, yeah, make sure to subscribe. Subscribe, motherfreaker. And I have a little group called the Odyssey Plan. If you want help, making sure that you're on track, making sure that everything's in check, making sure you're constantly reminding yourself every day to improve, then yeah, you can join the Odyssey Plan. Obviously, I'm not going to sit here and trying to sell it to you, but I am going to make different courses on ways to battle your mind. My camera's fucking up a little bit, but yeah, you get the idea. It's not a big set in stone thing yet. I'm obviously working on it, but I hope to see you there, and I'll waive whatever fee you have to pay for the first month if you're a nice loyal subscriber. Yep, trust me, you can hold this video to me. If for the first month we're on track and you're doing everything good, then I won't charge you, but I'll give you a little refund. If I have to cash app you the refund, then I'll cash app you the refund. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Love y'all. Even if you hate me because I voted for Trump. Duh!